Hey guys, it's me, Jennifer Priest, and today I'm going to walk you through a really easy way to add your Pinterest descriptions to your blog posts. So one of the things that we had done in the past is advise you to use your alt text for your Pinterest description. And over the last year and a half, that hasn't been working. Plus, now that Pinterest allows hashtags, we want to make sure that we put hashtags in our Pinterest description. And so there's a couple things at play here. One is with alt text, there is a whole other reason that we have that besides just having Google look at it. So two reasons that we have alt text. One is for SEO purposes, right? So that Google or Bing or whatever search engine is crawling our post can tell what the images are about. So we give that information in words to the search engine via alt text. Hey, Sharon. So the other way that we use alt text is for accessibility. So this is for anyone that has any kind of accessibility issue, such as being blind, for example. So if they aren't able to actually read the post, they might be using a reader that reads it out loud to them, or they might be using some other kind of software to read what's in your post. And so for the images, whatever software can't read it. So you have to actually put words to describe what the image is. So that's the other reason that you would have alt text. And kind of a sub reason to that is, let's say that your image doesn't display because maybe someone's on dial-up or the connection's slower, there's some kind of error. The alt text at least tells them, hey, this is what image was here. So there's kind of two and a half reasons of why we use alt text. And a lot of us have been using that for our Pinterest description because when you would pin from a blog, Pinterest would just kind of scoop up the alt text and put that as your pin description. And that was great while that worked. But about a year ago, it stopped working reliably. So I've got a couple comments here. I got Yolanda. She says she thinks she's been doing it. Deborah says it's 1 a.m. And Yolanda wants to know how to do alt text. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Show you how to do that, Yolanda. And I'm going to show you guys the proper way to also tell Pinterest what to make as your pin description. So we have a free guide, and I'm going to drop a link to that here in the comments towards the end of the broadcast. But I have a free guide. I just updated it for how to add your Pinterest description, your pin description to your images. So you've got your alt text and then we have the pin description. Now this involves a little bit of HTML code, and a lot of people are out there are like, oh, this is scary and you should use a plugin. And you guys, there's a reason I don't use the plugins for this. There's a few different plugins that people have recommended. One is Yoast SEO. Yoast is great for SEO, but it's only as good as the user. So if you're not going in there and updating all the social tabs and all that stuff, it's just not going to work. And that is a lot of work. I find that actually messing with the code is less work. There's plugins like Social Warfare. So I tried Social Warfare for a while and it conflicted really, really, really bad with my site to where my whole site just showed white. Like it showed a white screen. It was awful. I made no money that day at all on ads. It was really bad. So I had to take Social Warfare off. And the thing with plugins is that they tend to fail. You can have a conflict. They can go bad. We saw this with all these people who are using the no follow plugin and then their links weren't no follow and they had to go in and manually code it. It's a good idea to get familiar with the HTML side of your site. So it's not going into like the main code of like the CSS, the whole code of the whole site. We're just talking about the HTML tab on your blog, right? You've got the visual tab, which is where you type it out and you arrange your pictures. And then right next to that is the HTML tab where you can go and look at the code. And it's really not that scary once you get used to using it. There is another plugin called WP Tasty. I'm looking at using that one, but you guys, I'm really shy of using plugins because they tend to conflict with other stuff. And Janina is saying that Social Warfare works fine for her. Sure, it works great for lots of people. Did not work for me, you guys. And that's why I don't like to have a lot of plugins unless they do something like incredibly ridiculously powerful for me. I didn't find that social warfare did that. I could accomplish what it was doing with Yoast, which is not conflicting with a lot of stuff, and with this piece of code. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, so this is a blog post that I did this month. It's still January, barely. And I'm going to show you guys kind of what I did here. So I've got all these long images. And then down here at the end, I have my pin. Here's my pin image down here at the end. So there's a couple ways that I could pin this. I can click on the Pinterest extension here in Chrome, or I can just right click and click to save it on Pinterest. Now what it did here is it pulled my alt text. This is the text that I'm using for accessibility reasons to let people know what my post is about. So in case the image didn't show, this picture is about fruity oatmeal bars recipe made with Dole Sunshine frozen fruit. That's what's in the picture. You want to keep that really short, like under 125 characters, very succinct. Sometimes Pinterest will pull this alt text description in, and sometimes it doesn't. And so if you have the alt text, you kind of are okay, but it's really not a strategic use of these images. If it's a Pinterest specific image, you really want to have a Pinterest specific description. And that's one that's optimized with keywords for Pinterest. It's written for search, it's written for Pinterest, and it includes hashtags. And so I have a free guide for you guys that I'll share at the end that is all about how to put hashtags on your posts. And it's basically what I'm showing you here, but it's like a nice, easy worksheet to help you figure out like your keywords and all that kind of stuff that you need to make your hashtags. All right, so this description is not good. Great for alt text, not good for a Pinterest description, because though it says fruity oatmeal bars recipe, great. It says frozen fruit, great. It's really not the best that I could do. So I have a pre-written description here that I'm going to put in here. So this is an ad. This is a sponsored post. So I want to make sure that I disclose that here in my pin description. So I have heavenly fruity oatmeal bars recipe made with Dole Sunshine frozen fruit. I want to write this more like a real person. These are easy to make. They're vegetarian. They're about 200 calories a serving, an oatmeal breakfast recipe the whole family will love. You can even write this in first person and talking about yourself in third person. Like, I love that she shares this yummy recipe, right? So you could do it as if you were some random person talking about your pin. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but I'm just keeping it pretty simple. And then I've got some hashtags. The first hashtag I always add is my branded hashtag. And this is because this will show up in the feed. So if I add this branded hashtag to all of my posts or to all of my pins and to all of my images here on my blog, when anyone pins it, that hashtag is going to be showing up right there at the beginning of the hashtag list that shows under the title of that post. So anyone who pins it, my hashtag is going to be in there. And that means anyone who clicks that hashtag is going to be able to find everything from my site, since I've been putting hashtags on these, without even following me. They don't even need to know who I am. So I put that branded hashtag first. Then I have another branded hashtag, and this is because this is a sponsored post. So I put that right after my hashtag because I want to send some traffic to that hashtag. And then here I just have some other keyword hashtags: bars, frozen fruit, breakfast recipe, or fruit recipe, a breakfast. And so here you can see Pinterest has a drop down. So if you're not quite sure what hashtags to use, you can just start typing out a hashtag. Pinterest has a drop down here with some suggested hashtags. So I wouldn't use breakfast nook because this isn't about a breakfast nook, right? It's about a breakfast recipe. It's not a casserole. So you want to make sure that your hashtags are accurate. So here I'm actually going to change this one to breakfast recipe. Got 1,125 pins there. This isn't always accurate, the number of pins, but we do want to see that there is some activity. So got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hashtags. So before I pin this, I'm going to go ahead and copy this whole thing. I've got my disclosure in there because it's sponsored. You don't need that if it's not sponsored. I've got some keywords: fruity oatmeal bars recipe, frozen fruit, easy to make, vegetarian. I could probably say vegetarian breakfast. 200 calories a serving, an oatmeal breakfast recipe. And then I have my hashtags. Okay, so I've optimized this post pretty well. It's not like the most amazing, but you don't need to spend hours on this, okay? It could be pretty logical. And if you've already written the blog post, you've probably already researched your keywords. So you can just use the same kind of keywords in your pin. All right, so I've copied this. I'm going to copy it again. And I'm going to put it on here. I think I have, yep, a board called breakfast. So I want to pin it to the most relevant board. Now from here, I would then, once I go to see my pin, I would then pin this to a bunch of relevant boards in Tailwind and kind of feed it through a whole thing. I'm not going to do that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my post and I'm going to click Edit Post. What I want to do is make sure that I tell Pinterest what I want the description of this image to be because it pulled my alt text. So right here in this post, this is the visual tab, right? This is where we normally are writing all of our blog posts. We're formatting our text, we're putting our headings, we're putting our images and all that kind of stuff. So from there, you want to switch over to the text tab. Now, if you're doing sponsored posts, you need to be putting no follow into your code anyway. So you should be in this side of your blog posts anyway. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the bottom. I don't know if I showed you guys. Down here, way, way, way at the bottom is my Pinterest image right here. This is my Pinterest image. Now, you do want to have alt text for every single image, and because you can't control what people are pinning from your site necessarily, and I don't know that it's worth a lot of effort. I try to make most of my images vertical if I can, and then I go ahead and add a Pinterest description to them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I've done that to all the other posts, all the other images in this post, except for this last one. So the way that you can tell that something is an image, let's see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see this easier. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so the way that you can tell that something is an image is it starts with this little open bracket and it says IMG for image. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for something that starts with IMG. In there, usually it'll say alt and it'll have an equal sign and then 2 quote marks back to back. You want to put your alt text in there, and your alt text is that piece of text that's about 125 characters long that is for accessibility, and it's written for the search engine. So that if somebody was doing a search on oatmeal bars recipe on Google for images, my image would come up. If somebody with accessibility issues was reading my blog post and using like a computer to read it aloud to them, it would read that this image is fruity oatmeal bars made with Dole Sunshine frozen fruit. So this is going to serve both of those purposes. That's what alt text is for. But I still need a place to tell Pinterest what this image is about. And Pinterest has its own schema markup. So schema markup is essentially pieces of code that you can put into your site that tell whatever it's talking to, whatever thing is talking to your site, that tell that thing what your site and what the content is about. So a plugin like WP Tasty puts schema markup, or any recipe plugin puts schema markup on your recipes so that Google knows, oh, this is a recipe. Oh, it has a cup of zucchini in it. Oh, it's this many calories. It helps to kind of label all the stuff in the recipe so that the search engine can recognize it's a recipe, so that Pinterest can recognize that that is a recipe pin. That's part of what the rich pin code does on your site. But it also looks at other markers on your site. So Pinterest has its own kind of like version of schema code that you can then use to tell Pinterest certain things about the types of content on your site. So one of those things is the data pin description. Oops, gotta spell it right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type data dash pin dash description and then equals and 2 quote marks. I'm just going to put this right after my alt text. So my alt text is right here. I'm going to put a space, one little space, and then data pin description equals and 2 quote marks. No spaces anywhere. Okay, and then a space after that before the width and the height of the image, blah, blah, blah. What I want to put here, the data pin description, is telling Pinterest, hey, this is the information that you need to pull and dump into the description of the pin. That's what this is for, is I'm telling Pinterest, don't take the alt text. I want you to pull this piece of text that has my sponsor disclosure, that is written for Pinterest, that has my multiple keywords, and that has my hashtags in it, because that's all Pinterest specific. So between the 2 quote marks, I'm just going to put my cursor and then paste the description that I wrote and copied from Pinterest. I'm just going to paste it right in there. Super easy. So now it looks a little long, but basically it starts here, data pin description. I've got the quotes, the open quotes. I pasted, whoops, don't want to do that. I pasted all of my stuff, which is kind of long. And then it has a closed quote. So basically I'm telling Pinterest everything between these quotes, that's what I want to go into the description. And I know people feel like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. It's really not that scary, you guys. It looks scary because it looks long. That's just because there's a lot of stuff between those 2 quote marks. But all you got to do is once you have this in there, you could write different pin descriptions for each of your images if you want. But if you're like a little lazy, you could just copy this and paste it. So I could copy this and go up to the next one. This one already has it, but I want to say there was one that didn't. Image. Okay, here's one that doesn't. So this is an image. I've got an alt text that it's fruity oatmeal bars, but I don't have a data pin description on this image. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste that. Make sure I've got a space after that quote mark, a space before data pin description happens. And now that image has the description for Pinterest. I'm just going to go through, keep looking, and the image tag, it'll start at the beginning. Okay, so it'll start at the left, aligned on the left. So alt text, blah, 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 data pin description. Awesome. That one's good. Keep going. Here's another image. And again, I've got data pin description in there already. And so this can kind of seem a little tedious, but it's not. You just look for the image, put your data pin description, make sure your alt text is written for the right, for SEO and for your, what are those called? Accessibility issues. Here again, I've got my, okay, here I have a boo-boo. So this is an old one where my alt text is the same as the data pin description. I don't want that. So I'm going to delete all this junk. You guys probably won't normally have anything like that happening. But if you did do that where you wrote an alt text that has hashtags and all this like extra junk in it, you're going to need to go in and delete that and make sure that the data pin description is the one with the disclosures, the hashtags, and all the extra stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, here's another image. Again, okay, my alt on this one is fine. My data pin description is here. And that's it. So I'm going to click update. And I'm also going to make it be the right size because you guys don't need to see it this gigantic. I just want to, it's hard to look at code when it's like super tiny on the screen. Okay, so let's go make this normal size. And then we'll go look at the post and you want to test it. So you want to see like, okay, does this work? So let's say I want to pin this image. So I got a little Pinterest button up there and you can see it's pulling. Now it's pulling that data pin description in. It's not pulling in the alt text. Now, if I right click on this, I could save the image. I could do a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. I thought I could see the alt text that way, but maybe I can't on this one. No. Okay, but again, if I try to pin this one, you can see here, data pin description is there. So you just want to kind of check your little images, click the pin it button, make sure the right description's coming up, et cetera, et cetera. So this is the pin that I updated at the beginning. Go ahead and click the pin it button, and there you can see it's pulling my data pin description. Oh, I have a spelling error. Bummer. Okay, so I'll have to go in and fix that. So go edit the post. And as you guys do this more and more, it's going to get easier and easier for you to mess with the code. You're not going to be like as intimidated about it. So I'm going to go fix that one, and it should tell me up here anywhere else that I have the same breakfast spelling error. If I do, I thought I pasted it up here. Yeah, right here, breakfast. Okay, so I only had those 2 spelling errors. All right, so those are fixed now, and we're good to go. So Yolanda's like, that's so cool. Yeah, you guys don't need a fancy plugin. You don't need to pay whatever, $50 a month or whatever nutso price it is. You can just do your own data pin description. So make sure, I'm going to turn this off. All right, so make sure, a couple things to recap. Alt text purpose is for SEO, and for accessibility. So you want to keep that to about 125 characters and just have it describe the image. Use one keyword, right? It's kind of hard not to describe oatmeal bars recipe without using oatmeal bars recipe. So just keep it short, simple, to the point. You're describing what this image is, so it shows up in image search, and so that people that cannot visually see the image can have like a computer or something else read out loud to them what the image is. Data pin description is where you're going to tell Pinterest what you want it to put in the description on Pinterest. And that needs to have any disclosures if it's a sponsored post. It needs to have a keyword-rich description with multiple keywords that is written for Pinterest that's going to catch people's attention. And it needs to have some hashtags. And so you want to start that off with the branded hashtags, some keyword hashtags, and I go a lot more into how you're going to choose the hashtags, and I guide you on choosing the hashtags in this guide. So I'm going to go grab the link for that so I can share it with you guys. Now we have a, let me see if I can get this. Yep. We have a Pinterest challenge coming up. I'm working on making a, why can't I think of what that's called? A landing page with a sign up so that you guys can sign up for this Pinterest challenge. But you're also going to get offered to sign up for the Pinterest challenge if you go and get this freebie that I'm going to paste right here. Let's see if it'll show. Yay! Okay, so it shows there. Let me put a comment in here. Comment as myself. So I just dropped the link. You guys can go and grab this guide. It's going to walk you step by step how to choose your hashtags. And then also it's going to, gotta get in there and fix it. It's going to give you a link to this video probably, if I'm fast enough to put it up in there. And I'll also be sending this out in our email newsletter. So once you sign up for the freebie, you're going to get our newsletter and you'll see this video in there too. So if you guys have any questions on Pinterest hacks, on some of these different things to do, why you're doing them, why are people telling you to do this, why is everybody up in arms about alt text this week? Well, this is why, because it has a different purpose. But for a long time, for many years, we were able to use it for our Pinterest description, but that doesn't always work anymore. And it's not really compliant with what the purpose of alt text is. It's not compliant with the laws in some countries as well, like the UK. All right, so I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you, I want to say on Thursday. I'm going to try to go live every day this week, but I'm trying not to commit to a schedule too much. So my next Facebook Live here on this page is going to be 9 a.m. on Thursday. I may pop in on here tomorrow. Let's see what I got. I'm actually going to be on Instagram Live tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the Smart Creative Social Instagram page. So I haven't really been over there doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to start building that account and doing some Instagram Lives over there with some additional different information that I'm not sharing here on Facebook. And I hope that you guys will join me over there. It's at instagram.com/smartcreativesocial. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.